Good afternoon, I think. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's day is going well. I hope your week is going well. Um, I just wanted to do my second live on the sacred scriptures that I have been hoping to bring more people into studying and learning about. So I've been posting these faceless storytelling videos, and I've been posting them on a variety of different things that I do. Um, and one of the ones that I posted was Pistis Sophia. And I wanted to kind of get into my feelings about the idea of Pistis Sophia. And then I wanted to take a little bit out of the Nag Hammadi um, library text about her also. And and I just want to say before I get into anything that I am not here to change people's beliefs. I am not here to preach to anyone. My purpose of doing these videos is to open minds, hearts, um, and in people to ideas that could be truth, could be your truth, and open it up ideas, expanding the idea of spirituality, and giving you an idea of what spirituality means to me, and learning about my own inner truth and my own journey in finding this inner truth. So, with that saying said, again, it's not here. I'm not here to argue with people, tell people they're right or wrong, or to profess that I'm right. We're all truth seekers, and we are all here on a personal journey. And I don't know what your journey is, but if there's something I can do to help you on your journey, help you to find your path, then that's what my mission is. That's what my goal is, to help other people seek their purpose. And I've been on my journey for some time now. 40, it'll be 42 years in February. And I've questioned my path numerous times. I'm at a point now where I pretty much I have a pretty strong knowledge of what the path is, and and how I'm going to get to that that path, that place of happiness, true happiness. And like I said, it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey, and I have to say that I'm at a very happy place in my life. I am very content in my belief system. I'm very content in, if I don't know something, I know I have the determination to find out what the truth is about anything that I question. And it's funny because usually when I'm in question about something, it somehow just shows up. And that's spirit working. Spirit works in that way. Whenever I'm wondering about something, whenever I'm contemplating on a path, um, or should I say a path, because like I heard a reading today telling me that I'm going to find a lot of different paths, but all of those paths, none of them are the wrong path. And I may have a lot of different ways that I will get to the final destination. And that made me feel so good because I get distracted, I get diverted, I have thousands of ideas going on in my head, and I want to make them all come true. And so it was really good to hear that. that no matter which path I take, it's going to bring me to the same destiny. So with that, I want to talk about Pistis Sophia. And, I, when I, when I learned about Sophia, I was absolutely amazed, because in all of my years of life, years of going to church, years of reading the Bible on my own, years of listening to people preach the Bible, I had never, ever, ever heard about Sophia. And she's basically the mother of all. And that's my words. That's how I have interpreted what I've read about Sophia. So the Nag Hammadi library that I'm going to be reading from has been translated by James Robinson. And I just want to do a little quote that I got off of. It's a book called Sophia, Goddess of Wisdom, Bride of God. In the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas, Sophia sits with God until the creation. Then she falls into matter and becomes manifest in every atom, permeating all things. So then it said, God is without. So God is without, and Goddess is within. And just to kind of connect that, it goes with the duality. In life is all about duality. We cannot have a day without sunrise and sunset. So we have the day with the sun and the moon in the evening. We cannot have life, there's giving birth, and then there's death. I mean, everything is a duality. It's all about opposites, the good, the bad, yin and yang, mother, father. So this just like encompasses that whole idea. And, I find that those words are absolutely beautiful to me, because they make sense. I just, for the longest time in my life, I used to like, whoa, wait a minute. How could, Adam and Eve, yeah, they could have kids, but how did they, it was like everything was a question. I didn't understand any of it. It didn't make sense to me. So, in the Nag Hammadi, Goddess Sophia, the word Sophia means wisdom. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit, because this is heavy reading, and I have read it over and over, and it's like, oh, that sounds so choppy. It sounds so choppy because it doesn't flow like the English language does. So it says, after the natural structure of the immortal beings had completely developed out of the infinite, a likeness then emanated from Pistis faith. So Pistis faith is called Sophia wisdom. So it exercised volition and became a product resembling the primeval light. And immediately her will manifested itself as a likeness of heaven, having an unimaginable magnitude. It was between the immortal beings and those things that came into being after them, like she, Sophia, functioned as a veil dividing mankind from the things above. So, she was like a very, very important person in the creation of human beings. And I hope I started so Pistis Sophia is faith and wisdom. And then it says, now the eternal realm, aeon or eon of truth has no shadow outside it, for the limitless light is everywhere within it. But its exterior is shadow, which has been called by the name of darkness. From it there appeared a force presiding over the darkness. The force in the forces that came into being subsequent to them called the shadow, the limitless chaos. From it, every kind of divinity sprouted up. Together with the entire place, also shadow, is posterior to the first product. Now, the first product being the human being. And it says it was the abyss that appeared, deriving from the aforementioned pistis. So now we're going to find out. Um, we're going to find out how exactly the abyss came to be. And the abyss, from what I am in, is the evil that has been created upon the earth. So the shadow perceived that there was something mightier than it and felt envy. And when it had become pregnant of its own accord, suddenly it endangered jealousy. Since that day, the principle of jealousy among all the eternal realms in their worlds has been apparent. Now, as for that jealousy, it was found to be an abortion without any spirit in it. Like a shadow, it came into existence in a vast watery substance. Then the bile that had come into being out of the shadow was thrown into a part of chaos. Since that day, a watery substance has been apparent, and what sank within it flowed away, being visible in chaos, as with a woman giving birth to a child. All her superfluities flow out. Just so matter came into being out of shadow and was projected apart. And it did not depart from chaos. Rather, matter was in chaos, being in a part of it. And when these things had come to pass, then Pistis came and appeared over the matter of chaos. When it had expelled like an aborted fetus, since there was no spirit in it, for all of it was limitless darkness and bottomless water. Now Pistis saw what had resulted from her defect. She became disturbed, and the disturbance appeared as a fearful product. It rushed her in the chaos. She turned to it and blew into its face in the abyss, which is all the heavens. And when Pistis Sophia desired to cause the thing that had no spirit to be formed into a likeness and to rule over matter and over all her forces, there appeared for the first time a ruler out of the waters, lion like in appearance, androgynous, having great authority within him, and ignorant of whence he had come into being. Now, when Pistis Sophia saw him moving about in the depth of the waters, she said to him, "Child, pass through here," whose equivalent is Yaldabaoth. Since that day, there appeared the principle of verbal expression, which reached the gods and the angels and mankind. And when came into being as a result of verbal expression, the gods and the angels and mankind finished. Now, as for the ruler, Yalta Baoth, he is ignorant of the force of Pistis. He did not see her face, rather, he saw in the water the likeness that spoke with him. And because of that voice, he called himself Yaldabaoth. But Ariel is what the perfect called him. for he was like a lion. Now, when he had come into the have authority over matter, Pistis Sophia withdrew up to her light. So basically, what this is saying is that Pistis Sophia took it upon herself to give birth to a child without the help, or without the, I don't want to say the help, without the acknowledgement and permission of the male deity. And because she did that dishonestly, she created this being without a soul. Um, and basically, it's like we need both. We need male, female. Our energies need to combine together to create the beauty within and without. Um, and that's my perception. I mean, you can read the text and come up with your own thing. There's a lot involved here. I mean, it gets into the seven. It gets into a lot of stuff. This is just like one and a half pages of a chapter that's, I don't know how many pages long. So the chapter is actually the origin of the world, and it ends up that Pistis Sophia, when she blew into this chaos, she blew all of her energy, her super energy into this being, which made this being even larger than it was originally. And she lost her powers. And from there, and I'll get into another part of the text um, later, probably next week, I'll go into a different part of it. But what will end up happening is she ends up seeing what she created, the evilness that she created, and she ends up going before the Almighty, the super deity, who was her equivalent prior to, and tells of him what had happened, and she's forgiven. That's like to shorten the story up, but I find this story to be amazing, and it talks about it also um, in the Gospel of Thomas. It tells a little more about Pistis Sophia, and later on, it also will. They say that God has come onto earth numerous times. Jesus was just one of the lives of the the powerful God that came onto earth as a human being. There were a number of other people that were said to be God also. And that Mary Magdalene was Pistis Sophia being reincarnated and coming onto earth again. So, it's just a very interesting read. And if you have been a person that, doesn't really, I don't question whether there's a super being, a higher power, God, whatever you choose to call that being, Buddha, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the name. What matters is what that entity means to you. And, if you've kind of questioned the stories that were passed along for years and years and years, I grew up in a culture that wanted society to believe that women were less than. And I'm not a woman's libber at all. I'm not professing to be equal. I'm not. That's not what this is about. But we were always taught that God made man, and it was man that was the ruler. And in here, prior to what I started to read, I think it was prior to, um, beings were androgynous. So they didn't have a gender. Um, And at some point, I read when Adam was created, that he was created with both genders, and that the female gender was pulled out of him to create the female. So, I mean, there are so many, and that makes sense to me. I'm sorry, but it does. It makes sense to me. Rather than pulling his rib out, it makes more sense that he had both genders. And there are some cultures, I can't remember which cultures they are, but there are cultures, I think it's in the Asian cultures, that when you are a hermaphrodite, you have both genders, I think that's the right word, you are considered very, very, very special. And it's not looked upon as freakish. It's sacred. And there's a reason that that makes sense if the original being had both genders. To me, it's like learning is about questioning. And when society tells you to not question things, and if you question things, you are, blasphemous and all these things, I say hogwash, because Christ never told his apostles, do not question me. Christ appreciated people questioning him. He appreciated people wanting to know why. And he always gave them, if he didn't give them a direct answer, he gave them something to ponder and to think about and to come up with in their own way. He didn't demand that people believe one thing or another. He wanted people to come up with their beliefs within themselves. And that's why we had the 12 nations originated from Christ, or from Adam, I should say. It all came down to, we had 12 tribes, from Abraham, and they all come from Adam, but whatever. So, because there isn't just one way, there isn't one belief. And, and I enjoy doing this. I enjoy learning. Sometimes, like learning this stuff, I'll tell you, I listened to the audio and I was listening to him like, whoa, this is like heavy. This is heavy, heavy stuff. And, it took me, I had to like really digest what I was hearing and what I was learning. It was intense. So I'm not expecting anyone to like just believe everything I'm saying, but research it, learn, go into the lost books of the Bible, go into the Gnostic text and the Hermetic text. Because there's more there than what we have been told. And it's not to knock anyone. I believe there's a lot of beautiful, beautiful people in the religious environments. But I also believe that the people at the top of those environments are projecting things so that they can control us. And I don't think that Christ wanted us to be controlled. I think that Christ wanted us to find our journey and become strong within so that we could help humanity. And that's my true belief. And I hope that that's what I can do for other people, as well as the fact that I'm doing that for myself. This is my journey. And, again, if you enjoy this, like and subscribe, and, let's make some more. Let's make more videos and have discussions and talk about things. And if there's a topic you want me to put out here and discuss, let me know what it is and we'll discuss it. I'm certainly not going to get into topics that are completely inappropriate for my beliefs, but I certainly open the conversation to things. If there's things in the Bible that, if you don't believe something I'm saying and you want it to be, something from the Bible, I'm not going to use a King James version. I will probably use an older version from the Bible, because I think the King James version personally is very watered down, and I think a lot of the text after the Gnostic scriptures in the Dead Sea Scrolls, I think a lot of them were thrown to the side so that society could be controlled. And that's just my belief. And I'm not going to debate it with anyone. It's just what I believe and what I feel. And I hope that some of you have the same strong sense that I do. And with that, I just hope you have a very blessed day. And I see some of you in my future videos, future lives. Okay, so take care and be blessed, and make sure that we are asking Spirit to guide our day, give us messages, and talk to us in whatever way that they do. Bye-bye.